What is up, you guys? It's Twinlesstwin, and today we are going to be playing some blue-black Oculus. Wait a second. No unearths, no Oculuses. That's right. We're playing no Oculuses. I'm done with them. They're bad. They're out. Murktide region is back in. Let's freaking do this thing. Before we get into the match, check out the new Metafy. We moved from Patreon over to Metafy, and we would love to see you there. Still all the same benefits, but we're going to be really focus testing for the RC, playing blue-black, playing, a bunch of other decks, just kind of playing everything. And you should definitely check it out. You can use code DELVE30, DELVE30, 33, DELVE30, actually, not 33, to get 30% off your first month to help you get ready for the RC. We are in this match. We're playing against, it seems to be 8-rack, so that'll be embarrassing if we lose. Let's bin this sink. I mean, I do have a fear of ensnaring bridge, which we have very few outs to, but the other thought I have is that it would be nice to have more instants and sorceries in my graveyard to cast a Murktide Regent as soon as we can. So, I'm gonna bin the sink. Yeah, then I discard and take away our frog. So, okay, we can play Murktide next turn. Just a 4/4, but probably worth it. Well, the only thing is if we want to then follow it up with Harbinger, we can't fetch next turn. Oh no, we just discard. Yeah, we can fetch. Okay, yeah. What am I saying? We can do this. Okay, and I do not care about that. If they do have Liliana, the fact that we have Harbinger as a follow-up to probably be able to attack and kill the Liliana is reassuring. The smallpox, they got us. So each player discards a card and loses 1 life, sacks a creature, and sacks a land. So, I mean, it's basically a 1-for-1 in that spot, right? Because they cast this spell and then they have to sack a land and discard a card as well. So it's not the end of the world, but so this tells me they probably have removal. I don't really see any value in casting the Dreams. I guess the value is if they have Ensnaring Bridge. But most likely it's going to just miss and do nothing. Floating black, they cast Bowmasters. Yeah, so they would have just flashed that in response, and then the Dreams would have done nothing. We'll hold on to this Dreams in case they want to Raven's Crime us. Then it actually gets a card out of their hand at least. Yep, here comes Raven's Crime. Okay. You got it. We have to decide if we want to be attacking or not. Okay, I mean, now the Spell Bomb is going to draw a card, so I think we do want to attack. They might not want to block. They are winning the race currently, so we might not be able to attack again next turn, kind of depending on how things play out, but getting ourselves to Hellbent is good if they have discard spells in hand, and then we don't have to crack this Spell Bomb right away. Eventually we could draw an answer to the Bowmasters. Yeah, I mean, we basically can't afford to crack the spell bomb right now. That's a good draw. They have a way to make me discard in my... Okay, wait. We could... Now we could decide, okay, this frog is good enough that we want to crack this spell bomb to get a card back. But the downside to that play is then they can discard spell us if they have a discard spell. I think we just have to let the frog go, which stinks. And then we'll stare them down for a bit. I guess long term, are we really going to be able to play off the top? Ooh, that's not good. Okay. Yeah, this game is looking worse. Now I think we have to spell bomb them. We need to find a... I guess I should have done it in response. That was really bad because like I could draw counterspell here. Could have shoot the sheriff. Is this an outlaw? Had to take care of that Bob. That Bob would run away with the game for sure. Okay, Inquisition gets the consign. I don't hate just trading here at this point. What is their last card, we think? I could see it being another smallpox. I could see it being another discard spell, and they're just playing, holding it because they haven't done anything. What's like the incentive to hold it? I guess Urza's Saga could be a card in their deck. That is a concern. Mishra's Factory. Okay, I think because of Urza's Saga, I think I'll take another hit. I would just pretty much instantly lose to an Urza's Saga if I traded. I'm taking 1 extra damage a turn that I don't block because if I did block it, they'd just be attacking me with the Bowmasters. Okay. You got my Spell Pierce. Let's draw a Murktide Regent. Brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Orcish Bowmasters, why do you do this to me? I don't think we can cast it now, because then we're going to be really far behind versus this army. We'll just let them discard it. Also, like, basically almost all the good cards that we would find, besides Fatal Push, are double blue. Like, Murktide Regent's probably the main card we're looking for here. So if they don't discard me this turn somehow, and then I draw a land, like, I'd probably be more comfortable preordaining at least than I have outs to something. Alright, they are just gonna discard it, though. Wow. Everyone is stupid but me. Oh, bad sequencing. Attack first, and then you can play your guy. But yeah, I mean we're also insulated from a potential smallpox, at least for now. But the tricky thing will be, wow, they're just shipping it in. So they put me down to 4. I'll eat their guy. don't have a legendary, but I think the play here is hit them and probably just no blocks so that we don't get... Now it feels like they don't have the rack, right? But they could have a smallpox. So if we block and trade... Oh wait, no, the smallpox just kills us because each player loses. Okay, so we are on blocking here. Oh, well, we can block the 1/1. Yeah, okay. That works. 2/2 better than 1/1. And then lose to the rack. Oh. They ripped the rack as their one unknown in their draw step. The calculation there was basically like they pretty clearly didn't have the rack before this turn. But like something like Smallpox they could have very possibly had. It could have been another Wrench Mind. Like we don't know that it was Smallpox. But they like had some card that they were never playing. And so Smallpox was infinitely more likely than like it being the rack or anything else. So I wanted to play around Smallpox, but now we just lose to the rack. Exactly. We take exactly lethal. Perfect. That's awesome. Okay, go to game 2. Something like Graveyard Trespasser seems perfect for this matchup. Meanwhile, Harbinger seems pretty unplayable. I think these consigns, I mean, they don't seem great either. Neither does this Dreams of Steel and Oil. Like, is Harbinger... Maybe Harbinger is just our best option. At least it also does stop... Harbinger at least stops, Urza Saga if they play that card. I mean, we could board in... I guess between Bowmasters and other stuff, like, they've, like, there's some hits for this. We want our removal for all their creatures that we saw. I don't love the Harbingers, but I think that they're probably like viable. The Spellbomb just is in there to cycle. I don't really love the Thought Seizes, but they're there. Thought Seizes are actually probably not horrible. Maybe they're even better than like Fawn. Fawn is like 3 mana negate. But then, like, you could protect a Murktide on a crucial turn. I just don't really expect you to have the cards to be able to do that. So am I going anywhere with this, or am I just talking myself in circles? Consign, Annul hits Snaring Bridge, the rack, and the other thing, but yeah, I think it's just submit this. This hand. I can send both of these to the bottom. Thoughtseize. I wouldn't be surprised if Trespasser is the take here. It seems like definitely the right option. Unfortunately, we don't have any unearths to draw. Trespasser is such a cool find. I think Pygonti originally found it, but maybe I'm off on that. Maybe they do something like play a Urza Saga, and then we get them with Harbinger of the Seas. I guess there is no getting them if they just position us. So then the decision is it worth trying to protect a Harbinger of the Seas? I don't think so. If we knew for a fact they had Urza Saga in their deck, then I would change my answer, but there's actually, like, there are cards that we would probably want to counterspell here. Namely, if they play the Rack or Shrieking Affliction, you'd want to counterspell that. Did you take the Harbinger. Also, look, we don't have the Harbinger rolled up as a play next turn, so... Oh, they do it versus Saga. I knew it! I knew it, and now look. It's okay. We're just gonna consider into this Harbinger again. Bin it. Okay, Borrower. Not a bad one. Ooh, top this Murktide for sure. Slamming a Murktide here is like kind of a great way to negate the... Urza Saga. I mean, if they want to answer the Murktide before we have Counterspell up, they need to take a turn to do so, so they're getting less value off the Saga, and then we do have Borrower to like bounce a token and then be a threat, so pretty much trade cleanly with this Saga. Or as clean as you can. And Image might not have an answer either. It's possible, of course. Inquisition. If they have Smallpox, then they can't make any Saga tokens. Oh, Bob. After taking our push. It's tempting to... Probably is correct to just bounce the Bob here. Like, Bob is a play that to me says, I don't have a removal spell for your Murktide. If you had the removal spell for Murktide, playing Bob is crazy. Especially when you know I have the Petty Theft. So yeah, let's just bounce this Bob. Is there any chance they have Needle? I guess even if they Needle Flooded Strand, I can still tap it for black mana, so no need to worry and fetch here. And actually, I'll try my best not to fetch, because you never know when you might be at 2 life and then the rack deals 2 damage to you. It'd be crazy if that happened, right? Alright, so they grab the rack. Now Smallpox would actually be pretty gross. Double rack. Okay. So we put them down to 3, or to 6, I mean, and then we have double Counterspell. So here I'm just thinking, what can they... Oh, they go down to 2, so that's even better, because now they... Well, knowing about Leyline of the Void is a little scary, but that is even better for us, that they now die to the Borrower as well. Okay, we know about Leyline. I mean, we don't have any more creatures we can board in. All of our creatures are in our deck. Learning about Saga might make Consign to Memory a little more interesting. Not really, honestly. I'm actually kind of more interested in like these Thoughtseize. Just to try to clear the way and then push through something like a Frog or one of our other threats. But I'm not sure I'm interested in it over any of my other cards is the question. I guess Fawn is probably a good cut. Just because it's 3 mana. You really can't afford to pitch cards, I think, in this matchup. Keep any 7-card hand. That's the rule against 8 rack. They take Harbinger, which tells me I think they have Saga. And then I'm trying to figure out, I mean, they could still have a 2-drop, so I need to be careful if it's specifically Bob, right? Otherwise, I would potentially be better served. I guess now that we know about, like, now that we have the shoot the sheriff, we're not afraid of Bob anymore. We actually should just bin this fatal push too. Binning fatal push tells our opponent a bit. I mean, it tells them that we probably drew a removal spell, right? So they can kind of change their play accordingly, or not. We can just slam Bob. Oh wait, did they know about the Tarn but not the Delta? Maybe giving them that info was bad. My thought was I wanted to fetch a Swamp and then next turn play Scalding Tarn plus Frog. But might have been bad. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about that, and maybe there's a better time to play the Frog, because, for example, but the Swamp did kind of put us in a more awkward spot. So maybe that Swamp was a bad play, because like, if we didn't have the Swamp, we could preordain, hold up Counterspell, and then if they don't, I mean, they did have a land, but if they didn't have a land, we could, like, play Frog and make them decide between the constructs or killing the Frog. It's kind of irrelevant now. We're also running into, like, if we draw Murktide, we can't have Murktide plus Counterspell. Swamp is really costly. It is not free. Please don't Bowmasters me. Is this Trespasser good enough? I think so. At some point it will transform into a 4/4, just based on, like, how these games are playing out. They're gonna have a couple 3/3s. Is this an artifact? It is. Wait. Yeah, this becomes an artifact, so they already have 4/4 constructs, which is a little dicey. But we can flip our Trespasser into a 4/4 right away. And then if we were to find any removal spell, we could potentially get a big blowout exchange. Borrower works, shoot the sheriff, even a Harbinger. Oh, did they just go to search? Or oh no, okay. They didn't. They're making, yeah, I was gonna say they should definitely make another construct here, it seems. So yeah, we thought they had the Saga, they did. So you can't block, they just activate Mishra's Factory. No. Get rid of this Spell Snare. Get rid of this island, I think. Unless we want to... potentially have Counterspell up. It's basically between, like, drawing a Murktide, which I guess we have 4 of, or Harbinger, which we have 2 of. discarding. I'm getting rid of the swamp. Please don't draw Harbinger. Please. Please, 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 please. My god. Okay, let's hold our cards so we don't take as much damage from the rack, but yeah, things are not looking good here. Ooh, there's a Saga. Might be the nail in the coffin too. Yeah, fire up the factory. So the Harbingers are actually excellent in this matchup. They're one of our best cards, despite questioning how good they were. Okay, well, we can fawn that, but we're going down to 6. I don't really see a route forward. Harbinger, probably. I was gonna say, if we draw Harbinger, the Saga goes away. They attack for 2, we trade, and then we draw something else. But no, yeah, that's GG's. Okay, GG's in round 1. Does Oculus have a better 8-rack matchup? Oculus plays around Smallpox. You make a 2/2, and then they cannot Smallpox you. Azax, alright, known for playing Storm. We'll definitely keep that in mind as we resolve mulligans. Basically known for playing all types of decks that are poor against Force of Negation, so from that regard, we should be coming into this match with an advantage. Now, maybe Zax surprises us. We'll have to see. Dreams, Pierce. Yeah, this hand seems great. Elegant Parlor. Looks like it is Storm. Discarding Looting. Interesting. I guess the better play is to hold up Pierce here because, like, say we Thoughtseize them and they have 2 of the same card, then it doesn't actually work. Whereas here, if we Pierce them, okay, we can just Fatal Push them, I guess, then. And then next turn we Thoughtseize. Or we should probably Dreams before we Thoughtseize. Whiff. I'll exile this Ral at least. That's sad. I guess that's the reason to turn 1 Dreams, is the risk of them not having anything to Dreams turn 2. The Thoughtseize is pretty safe to hold, but this was not. I guess now we want to hold up the Pierce. Pierce whatever they play, and then we can Thoughtseize them again. Okay, well, I guess lucky to have drawn a Fatal Push. Then again, they're lucky to have drawn a Ral. And we don't get to Pierce now. Start with Preordain, get some info. Okay, don't need more lands. Guess we can seize them. Grab this Wish before it's too late. Then we'll just like spell snare the Manamorphose, probably. Or do we want to pierce it? Actually, piercing it seems better. I am nervous this pierce is going to expire. The spell snare should be pretty live. Ooh, they're moving fast. Do they sneak something by me? Oh, flashback looting. Ditching Piff. Well, Frog was pretty much the perfect draw there. We desperately needed something to start actually getting us an advantage. Okay, so what happens here? They make 6 mana, then 7, then 5. I mean, at some point they're going to be... They're going to like flashback the Piff and then we just snare the first thing they do. So it's better to let them go for it, I think. Because now we got the Piff out of their yard. Alright, and they scoop the match, which is not uncharacteristic of Zax. And my computer doesn't have enough storage. The old 1-0 win. Thoughtseize into Frog. Seems good. It's painful. We're going to... Might as well be playing Death Shadow. We're going down to 13. But hopefully that doesn't matter. Against a decent majority of decks, that actually just doesn't matter right now very much, but against energy it matters a lot. So that's the risk. If we were against energy, this hand would actually be pretty bad, I think. Just too painful. I wonder, I think we can actually play some Darkslick Shores since we're not playing the Oculuses. So should get on that. Okay. Grist seems like the most reasonable card to take. Human Clerics. You can shoot the Sheriff. Everyone else is fair game. I like that flavor text. Yeah, the Grist seems pretty annoying with like a Malevolent Rumble token in play. It just lets them crush us. I'm curious to see how the Yawgmoth matchup goes. I mean, we are... Historically, Yawgmoth has been good for Murktide and then bad for Murktide, and now, I mean, we're not even playing red anymore, so it's a completely different matchup, but ooh, they find Soul Cauldron. That is the card that made the matchup become bad, so not a card that I'm excited to see. Ooh, but Snare. How do we want to do this? Is it worth paying? I think it's worth paying the life to get to Preordain. So we need to find more lands. Ooh, this Consign is actually okay. This is, I think, good. What we got here is we have Consign for the Soul Cauldron, and then so we'll have Snare up when we play the Frog. I guess I'm not sure how valuable having Snare when we play the frog actually is, but I'm imagining it's valuable. Don't play another Soul Cauldron, please. A Rumble. Rumble. Feel a rumble. Maybe I overvalued the Snare because they chose Delighted Halfling. Like, the Snare might actually just do nothing. Then we could have just bought up the consign, used the Snare there, and been better off. I think the Snare will eventually do something this game, though. Though the Halfling find is making that less likely, not more likely. Okay. I am a genius. Alright, well we can't afford to jump the frog because we actually I think want to play Murktide here. Do we just want to slam an 8/8? If we put them to 17 and then play an 8/8, versus the alternative is we put them to 18 and play a 7/7, but with more flexibility for the future. Oh, actually, we can play a second frog here as well if we just... Yeah, so it's better to just take our card and probably discard that card so we can play Murktide and Frog. But it's a land, obviously, it's funny, but... Last card, Shoot the Sheriff, is also great. We know about the Yawgmoth in hand, and I think that's the only card we know about. Oculus could never. Well, actually, Oculus would probably be also just as good here. Oculus would probably be as good here, to be honest. Maybe slightly worse. Interesting. I mean, this is either Chord or Endurance. We have Shoot the Sheriff. So I think, I mean, we could just pretty safely call on either and get in. Oh, Bowmasters. So an orc is fair game. So they used the thing, so they have something that costs 3. Feels like endurance, right? I mean, I don't know. If they go no blocks, I think I'll just shoot the Bowmaster. And, well, actually, once the triggers go on the stack, that's the right time to kill the Bowmaster. Oh, Cord for another Bowmaster. Ah, so the strategy is to shoot me a ton. It's actually not a bad strategy. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. How close are we to dying here? Are we dead on board to this? Wow, the last 2 were just dead. We died to the Bowmaster's plus Cord line. I did not see that one coming. Alright, we'll play this land. Oh, I could have something. You should be careful. Don't attack me for lethal. None of these are legendary, so this Odawara way worse than Sync. But alternatively, Sync way worse than Odawara because we had to shock both of these, and that's why we're even in this position to begin with. So, which is worse? That's the question I have for you. Oh, we could have shot the Bowmasters right away before they made the Orc token, and then that completely beat their line. So we punted. And we should have thought about Cord for 2 as another line that they were considering. I also think they punted then, right? Because they could have... No, it didn't matter. Yeah, no, they played fine. We punted by... They left up the triple green. Wow. Yeah, if we had thought more about that, we had the line shoot the Sheriff, the Orc, and we win. No, don't win, but like we're very likely to win. And lose. Okay. That was a good match, a good learning, I guess. Important to consider the Cord ramifications, I guess, is the takeaway I have there. Jailer actually seems pretty good, right? How many ways do we want to answer Cauldron? I feel like it's just like the Pierce and the 3 snares and the dreams and these thought seizes. I don't know if we want the thought seizes or the spell bomb actually. Do we want Harbinger? Harbinger sounds fine. I'm not sure how good it is in practice. Fawn I think can come out. So I guess maybe we just need some fair cards in here. Trespasser. Annul hits the Cauldron. What else does it hit out of Yawgmoth? Do they have anything else we can annul? Maybe we need to play a couple of Thought Seizes. Yeah, can we add Darkslick Shores and make our mana a little less painful, like 2 Watery Grave, cut a fetch, and then play the 2 Darkslicks. Could be nice. 9 fetches is a lot. I think that the idea for having all those fetches is that you're making more consistent Oculuses, but Murktide, I think... I mean, I guess Murktide is similar, so they'd be similar logic, but yeah, I'm kind of surprised that we're not playing the Darkslicks. Okay. The old Dreams into Frog. Is Dreams the right card to start on? Probably Thoughtseize is better to start on. Because then Dreams can exile that card from their yard later. And Thoughtseize can take Fatal Push. So what's going to happen here? They're going to play a Surveil End and pass. Okay, that's fine. I think just Island here is okay. I'm like scarred from the last game. They did top. It could mean a lot of different cards, honestly. Green Suns here. Okay. So they get the Arbor. Oh, I should have... Shoot. I should have jumped my Frog there for sure. I think I'll actually just consider... Or... Yeah, I think I'll consider and jump the Frog. I mean, I need to find a land, but... Yeah, okay, I found a land. Preordained would have been the better play there, but let's see what they have. So we know we're taking this Grist for sure. And then we know they're going to have Swamp, Blood Artist, Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. Well, we need to snare the Bowmaster. They're not going to play the Bowmaster on their turn. So then the question is, if we cast Preordain, will they play the Bowmaster on their turn, or will they still hold it? I mean, I guess if we cast the Preordain, we get 3 extra looks towards a removal spell, which doesn't sound horrible. Shoot the Sheriff definitely seems nice. And I think another Psychic Frog also seems reasonable. So I guess if they play everything out here, it is kind of hard to... It is kind of hard to Psychic Frog. Man, these games are hard. Oh, they don't play. Okay. That, I think, is interesting. What do I make of that? They didn't play out the Blood Artist, and they draw a second Bowmasters? Does it have to be second Bowmasters here? And if it is, then what do we do? Play a second frog, snare one of the two bowmasters. And don't attack. Or maybe we do want to attack. We do want to attack. We attack and then we... What happens if they flash and bowmaster target the frog? Gets marked with 1. Then we could like discard. We could just, yeah, we can just jump the frog then. Well, they're still gonna get a trigger, so then it's 2. Okay, I think because they have second bowmasters, we don't attack here. No, I think we do attack. We attack, it's fine. Oh, interesting. Block with Dried Arbor is not something I had calculated. Okay, so we had a good feeling about that one. I assume there's another one. Yeah, there's another one. Okay, good read on our part. But like, so they just cashed in. I mean, their last card is Blood Artist, and now they've cashed in this. I mean, they yeah. What if they draw Yawgmoth here? They can't cast it. That's a little bit vexing. This counterspell. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to cast it. I think if we play the frog this turn and then their play is just Blood Artist, then we get to hold up counterspell moving forward and can probably maneuver it to a winning position. I don't know, at some point we get to start attacking with a frog. Endurance, okay. I guess, do we just want to exile our graveyard? We don't really want these cards shuffled back into our deck at this point. I guess the Preordain is probably the best card to have back in our deck, but the rest of them just stink. So we can do that. Getting this 4th land into play will be nice. To have... Well, actually, was it nice for anything? Maybe I should have thought about it a little more. This Blood Artist is also annoying. All these cards are annoying. Shoot the Sheriff. Shoot the Endurance, I guess. Considering attacks, it's interesting. I'm definitely blocking. I mean, block with this frog. Maybe they just want to upgrade their Yawgmoth, but in my mind, like, this means now that I could attack with my frog. So it's a win for me too. Attack with my frog and then have a frog back to block. I don't think they'll be able to drain me, but we'll see. From 12 now, it doesn't seem likely. It's possible. passing, so they either have multiple 4-mana spells, would not be good. They could have Chord, also not good. Kind of feels like they have Chord. Why don't we start by attacking for 2 and see what they do? And then I'm not sure if we want to... If we could fetch Island, we're pretty clearly supposed to play the Trespasser, I think, but... Now I'm not sure. Okay, so we drew... Our prayers have been answered. Trespasser is actually kind of beautiful here. We'll get this, I think we get the Dryad Arbor so that they don't get... They, like, can't Cauldron that ability. I'm not sure we... They're gonna Endurance themselves. Do we need to counterspell this is the question, basically. So they Endurance themselves and then attack me for 3. 4/5. We block. I think they can only really attack with the Endurance. And then we can just flip our Trespasser. Okay, so I think this is fine. I'm just trying to calculate to make sure that this was okay, but actually, I mean, it's kind of close. Maybe I'm playing too cautiously of, like, a Yawgmoth or Chord. But, I mean, it doesn't seem, like, unlikely that that's one of the cards they have. Hapatra deals, that's fine. The problem is we're going to be stuck on defense here for a while now, but, I mean, it's actually, okay, they didn't attack. Interesting. Ooh, interesting. Okay. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. I want to flip this Trespasser this turn, and then next turn we can make some plays happen. Ooh, they're slamming this Yawgmoth so fast. Alright, I mean, we basically just got, like, straight up rewarded for our play, right? Day night as if player cast at least 2 spells during their own turn. So I can cast another spell now. And that doesn't penalize me. So I will elect to do that. I will kill this Endurance. That way I can attack with the Graveyard Glutton. Ooh, Petty Theft. I'm going to attack with 2 creatures now. So you can bounce the Hapatra. Seems good. Now it's just like, yeah, 2 chump blocks. They're losing all their resources. Their 1 card in hand is Hapatra. Hapatra combos with Yawgmoth, notably, so, like, bouncing the Hapatra means they're not going to be able to combo me and just machine gun my board. Okay, Rumble. Rumble finds another Bowmasters. That just makes this borrower a lot worse, and also makes attacking annoying. Yikes. Okay. Great. Okay, well, Bowmasters. Oh, they instantly flash the Bowmasters. That's interesting. They didn't want to play the Hapatra. I'm flashing this Borrower. I mean, it might get tagged by a Bowmaster's trigger at some point, but I think that I do need to put pressure on them. I want to keep attacking. Ooh, okay. I actually do think that, like, attacking with the frogs is not legal here. Just because I think if they let it through, it is actually bad for us. Like, the 2 Bowmaster triggers are better than the card we draw, or even 1 Bowmaster trigger, like shooting our Borrower. I'm not sure what I want to do with this push yet. Pushing doesn't take them off of Chord, so there's not really a huge reason to use it right now. I guess if they find Yawgmoth, I need to kill the Blood Artist, right? That's probably the most important card to take care of. I guess if they flashed Endurance there, that would have been pretty bad, but I had a feeling they might not have it. So now it's like they didn't play anything. Do they have Endurance? Maybe Endurance was the read I was supposed to have based on them not playing the Hapatra back out. I don't know what else it would be. Fatal Push, discard the Hapatra. Okay. I guess just take care of the Blood Artist here so that they don't get that extra trigger, and then we can finish them off with Borrower. These Bowmasters are really giving our frog a tough time. Well, it takes away Chord as a draw step for them, so not horrible. Do we have lethal next turn? We go, they're 10, and we have 6. Yeah, we have exactly 10 damage next turn. So if they don't have any way to interact with our board, like if they just play a creature or something, we win. Ooh, Rumble does not mean we win. And now I need to decide if I want to pierce it. I think... that's scary. It's very scary. Wait, so 6, 7, 8, 9. If I pierce it, it just means we are off a turn on our clock anyways. So I think the answer then is just let it resolve, because they could whiff. Looks like they actually did whiff. Yeah, okay, that worked. Like, if you pierce it there, you're 1 damage short of lethal, so the 2 mana, they're obviously going to pay for the Rumble, right? Like, they have no other plays. So they pay, and then even if they can't cast the card that turn, they could still just like cast it the following turn. I guess putting them to 1 is relevant with Yawgmoth, though. Well, no, we couldn't put them to 1. We could maybe put them to like 2 or 3. But then we might lose on the backswing. Okay, maybe the Pierce was fine. Murktide would have been real nice any point this game. To be fair, so would have Oculus, but that's not why we're here. Sand seems solid. I am curious to see how the Jailer performs, and then also Harbinger will be interesting. Counterspell with a Swamp is sad, but... Oof, the Yawgmoth few. There's always that moment of just bracing for a delighted halfling on the draw when you don't have a fatal push and you just know that the game is not going to go well. But this was not one of those games. They have Bowmasters, it seems like. I mean, I guess we can just untap. And then, yeah, if we're going to snare the Bowmasters, we'll fetch a Surveil ends on their turn. Oh, they just don't play anything. So maybe they just had nothing. I don't know. That's interesting. Well, this Harbinger is about to completely lock them out then. And we're slamming it, for sure. In fact, do I want to, like, bait them into playing the Bowmasters? I guess I should top this push then. Okay, hope that Bowmasters does a lot for you. Might be the last spell you play this game. I'll take one here because next turn I can play Soulless Jailer. I have Counterspell up, and then the Yawgmoth can't come back. So no problem there. Okay. I don't think I cared that much about it, the Cauldron, but like, because I have a snare on hand, it feels worth it to use the snare. Like if it was just the counterspell in my hand, I actually probably let that resolve, I think. Maybe that's bad, but they're not anywhere near discarding a card, so I don't know how they would get cards into their graveyard to utilize this Cauldron. Really? Pitch Endurance. Okay. What am I missing here? They can't chord. Was the plan to chord, or was it just to actually endurance me? Okay, maybe it was just to endurance me. Buy themselves time, so I can't Murktide. Might be a reasonable thought. Alright, opponent, make sure you play a spell next turn, otherwise my Graveyard Trespasser is going to transform. I've warned them. Okay, that was a mistake. Should have played a spell. This is what I like about Harbinger this season. It just gets people, you know? Like, doesn't matter if you're a two-color deck, you still probably have pretty greedy mana, and you can just get people. And then when you play against the decks like Eldrazi and stuff, then the Harbinger really gets people. And there's always Dom Harvey, who's playing Amulet, and he's just going to completely lose to the Harbinger. Good card, good card. The one thing I really miss is expressive iteration. It is a bummer that blue-black loses out on that. Alright, so we pick up this match. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. We are 2-1. Play one more match. Actually, I lied. Apologies, but I do have to get to bed. Thank you everyone who watched this far. Really appreciate it. If you want, you can check out the Metafy. Use code DELVE30 to get 30% off. If you're a Patreon currently, there's a special code just for you posted on the Patreon to get a free month on the Metafy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.